Hi guys, it's Darren the Window Cleaner, Green Pro Clean Limited, window cleaners in Nottingham, Derbyshire and South Yorkshire. Today's video is by popular demand. No, not really. What I want to talk about today is I covered a topic a couple of days ago of, will you really get that much money for that type of job, this type of job, etc. And I got a good response, and so I wanted to cover the next, or what I think is the next most popular question that I get asked by people, and that is, should I start a business as a window cleaner? Now, that's entirely up to you. Nobody in the world can answer this question for you. Many of us as window cleaners, we come from all walks of life. I know aviation engineers that have become window cleaners. I know lads like myself, believe it or not. Somebody once the other day says, "Oh, you must have been a college graduate, etc., because you're very well spoken. You come across it." And believe it or not, I was booted out of school at 15. I went straight to trade as an apprentice glazer. Was my very first job. Lasted 3 weeks. And my payback in those days was £33.33 a week, and it was a time called the last millennium, and that was my first week's pay, £33.33 for a 40-hour week. And I don't even know, what's that, 70p an hour? Mr. Calculator, £33.33 divide 40, 83.5 per hour. I was living large. And by the time mother had a third of that towards housekeeping, and by the time I'd paid the local sandwich van round the corner for my week worth of snacks, there weren't a lot left over for dancing on a Friday night. But anyway, so that was one of my first jobs out of school. And so what I'm saying basically is people come to this from all walks of life. You've got college graduates, you've got engineers. I even know a retired, an ex-GP who became a window cleaner, simply because the money was better. So should you start a business as a window cleaner? Now that's the not the $1 million, but it's worth a few dollars. That's the question. And a lot of people say to me, "Oh, I've been talking to my friends and family about it, and they say this and they say that and they say the other, and they say that there's loads of window cleaners around here, and they say they don't think it'll ever get anywhere." When I started my first round back home in Jersey, that's it, I've given the secret away. Many of you didn't know that. I'm actually from the Channel Islands originally. When I moved back from, I was living in America. I moved home in 2007, started my first round back in Jersey, and my mother says to me, "Oh, you won't get anywhere." And to let you know how I became a window cleaner, I took a job working for a window cleaner in 2007 in Jersey because I was bored. I had some time on my hands. I had cash in the bank. I didn't need to worry for quite a while. I took this job because I was bored. And the fellow was a really good window cleaner. Right nasty piece of work. I mean, the old proverb of, urination when somebody combusts comes to mind. But yeah, so no, proper nasty piece of work. And it didn't last long between me and him because he was just not a nice fella. But anyway, he taught me to clean windows bloody well. So, that was the good side of it. And at the end of the day, I went home, I quit working for him, went home. My kid brother said, "What are you doing?" I says, "I'm going fishing, pal." So I said, "Gorgeous, I'm going fishing." He says, "Now for a job." And I said, "Oh, what about that down the road?" And he suggested setting up for myself. So I did. Ladder on the top of a battered old Volvo 240 estate. And I printed some leaflets on mother's computer at home. And that was it. I was off around the neighbourhood, and mother was like, "Oh, you won't get anywhere." And we grew up on a trust estate, which was affordable housing for low-income families back in the day, run by Florence Boot. Side note, historical interest, and she was the wife of Boots the chemist. I mean, it wasn't run by her; it was run by the Florence Boot Trust. And Boots did a lot of charitable works, and she was so she started this housing trust for affordable houses, and that's where we grew up. And when they redeveloped the estate, there was 34 three-bed semis on this estate, and my mum said, "No, you won't get anywhere around here. Everybody's got a window cleaner around here." I went out chapping on the doors, and I was more expensive from day one, and I came back with 26 of those 34 jobs on day one. And that's where it all began, all them years ago, even though my mother was telling me that I wouldn't get anywhere. So when you're talking to people, to put that into context, my mother she was a senior staff nurse in a dementia unit for the last 20 odd years of her career before retirement, and a job I couldn't personally do. Care homes break my heart. I find them so depressing, most of them. And I couldn't do that job. I couldn't handle that responsibility. So my respect to everybody that does. But the advice I was getting of I wouldn't get anywhere as a window cleaner wasn't coming from anybody who knew anything about being a window cleaner. It wasn't coming from anybody that had ever been self-employed, that had ever grafted for themselves, that had ever had to wake up in the morning and go, well, if I pull a sickie today, I simply don't earn. As straightforward as that. A lot of people are in love with the glamorous side of window cleaning, I'll be self-employed, I can choose my own hours, I can start later in the day, I can finish earlier in the evenings, I could take extra long holidays. And that side of it is true. That's all well and good. You are your own boss, you set your own rules, you set out your own stall, and that's entirely down to you. We're in the middle of Storm Gareth at the moment. Some of the lads have lost 2 to 3 days this week, some of the franchisees, just because the winds are too high to work. They ain't getting paid, that straightforward, because they're self-employed. If they're off sick, they ain't getting paid because they're self-employed. And nobody tells you about the downsides of it. So when you say to me, should I start up as a window cleaner? Only you can decide that. But if you want to start up as a window cleaner, track down other self-employed people that you know. And you'll know a few when you put your mind to it, Maybe they've started a burger van, or maybe they're a plumber or a sparky or a mechanic that have set up their own business. And it doesn't matter what line of business it is. They could be running their own successful eBay shop for all I know. But what matters is that they are self-employed, because those are the people whose mentality you need to tap into. Those are the people where you need to say to them, what do you think about being self-employed? And they'll tell you all about the rough with the smooth. If you're asking somebody who came straight out of university, took a job in an office on the 9 to 5, and has been sitting at that same desk for the last 20 years with the security of pensions, sick pay, maternity pay and all that jazz behind them, if you're asking them what they think, you're asking the wrong person. If you're asking someone who came straight out of school and has done a series of jobs, working in the bars, stacking the shelves, all that sort of stuff we used to do as kids, stacking the shelves in Tesco's, etc. If you're asking people that are doing that for a living, that are on the payroll, that are out there doing the daily grind for barely above minimum wage, if that, you're asking the wrong people. So the people you want to be asking are the ones that do it, the ones that are self-employed, the ones that know you. And if they know you and they're self-employed, that's a big bonus, because they will know what you're like up there. Do you have the mentality for it? Do you have the willpower, the drive to thrive and survive? And the work is out there. The work is out there. This is England. Welcome to England. I hope you like it. It's if you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes. That's what I told my in-laws when they was over a couple of weeks ago for a visit. But at the end of the day, this is England. 25 million residential addresses in England. The old trusty Casio once again. 25 million. I did the math a while back. A skilled window cleaner, decent window cleaner on his own, can crank out approximately 500 properties in a month without too much effort. So that's 25. Let's make sure I've got the right number there. Or is that 250 million? Whoop, back it up one. So 25, and that's 6 zeros, isn't it? 25 million, and divide that by the 500 gives us a grand total of 50,000. It would take 50,000 window cleaners to clean those windows on a monthly basis. Are there 50,000 window cleaners in the country? I don't know. Look at firms like Royal Mail, for example. Royal Mail has a grand total, I believe, of 160,000 employees. So to clean all the windows in the country, we would need 1/3 as many workers as Royal Mail has. And that's not just the postman, that's the office workers, the back staff, the people that we never see on the street. That's a hell of a lot of people. 50,000 window cleaners is a hell of a lot. I don't know 50,000 window cleaners. I know maybe 50. I don't even know 500. But so the work's out there, the work's available. Remember that a lot of these window cleaners won't be doing 500 houses a month. They might only be doing 200 or 300 houses a month, because that's all they need to earn what they want to get by. Some of them will do more than that. Some of them will be running sizable firms and growing. But should you get into window cleaning? Could you get into window cleaning? Is there money to be made in it? When we moved back to the UK just a few short years ago, we were so far beyond broke, as many of you will have seen in another video of mine. I started out with a ladder on my shoulder, walking up and down the streets, knocking on the doors. I've gone from that to having 3 franchises out there. I drive around in used, but very, very nice used car these days. And as you might be able to tell from the old double chin kicking in a bit there, I might be living a bit too well. So time to trim that up. But yeah, there's money to be made in it. I went from having 2 slices of bread left in the kitchen to literally this morning, without word of a lie, I've just walked away from a meeting and looking like this, I've walked out of a meeting where I've just closed a deal to do an annual building clean on a large accommodation block in Nottingham town centre. That's worth £22,500 for 4 weeks' work a year. That's not £22,500 profit. The profit will be around about 50 to 50, hopefully a bit more than 50% of that, because it's going to require a considerable amount of work, a considerable amount of staff. Not the sort of thing that I diverge from. As you know, the core of my business, the heart of my business, I've always touted it has been the residential window cleaning. As you know from the past videos, yeah, we've diverged into roof cleaning in the past. The lads will still do gutter cleans and conservatory roofs, but generally they don't do anything that doesn't involve the equipment that they already have available to them. Solar panel cleaning, for example. But this came along, this was put up in front of us, and initially I turned around and I just said, not for us. And then a dear friend of mine turned around and he says, well, look at it a bit closer. So I got a hair blowing in my face there. Look at it a bit closer, assess it and see if it's worth it. And it turns out that if this one goes right, there's about 18 or 20 of these sites around the UK that could well be ours if this one goes well in September. And so that obviously warranted much closer investigation. We went in, we took a look at it, we took a look at the numbers. It took 5 or 6 site visits before we were convinced that we can do the job satisfactorily, and they basically offered it to us there and then on a plate. They had 3 quotes in, they had other firms in to look at the job, and for some reason I'm the one that they liked. And I don't know why. I haven't even asked why I got it yet, and I will do it at a later date. I'll ask them why they chose to go with us. But maybe it's because I walked in looking like a guy who works for a living, you know, not going in all suited and booted with my clipboard. And I have my notepad and my trusty gardener's biro right there. Quick plug for gardeners. Thank you, Alex, for the biro. Feel free to send me another poll if you like. But I went in looking like somebody who actually works for a living, actually gets their hands dirty. So maybe that had something to do with it. Maybe it's because I walked in and asked them what they needed, as opposed to telling them what we could do for them. I said, what is it you need? Who knows? But this contract came up, I took it. So is there money to be made? Oh, hell yes, there's money to be made. Can you do it? Only you can decide that. But to all those people that you're asking, should I, you know, do you think this, do you think that? Ask the right people. Believe in yourself, ask the right people. Don't ask somebody who does the 9 to 5 grind for that security paycheck every year and a guaranteed pension at the end of it. They won't know. They don't know what it's like to do what we do. So believe in yourself, ask the right questions, ask the right people, and don't let anybody who goes, I don't think so. Don't let them put you off. If you believe that you're going to make it, you will. Straightforward as that. Thanks for watching, boys and girls. It's Friday, thank Crunchy. So have a great weekend. If you like what we do, subscribe. Thumbs up if you like it, thumbs down if you don't. It's all good. It's all about the reactions. Drop by to links below. Check out our sponsors. Thanks to Jordan down at Waterworks, home of the Power Up HD reels. You'll see them in all of our vans. All of our systems are provided by Waterworks. And if you want to chat about cleaning type stuff or general chit chat, drop by the Window Cleaning Business Forum. It's windowcleaningforums.co.uk is the website. Bunch of great guys on there. It's not all about window cleaning, all sorts of stuff. So drop by and say hi. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a great weekend. Talk to you all soon. Ciao for now. Hi guys, quick addendum to the video you've just watched. The chap who told me to take a closer look at the large contract that I've just closed this morning, the one who convinced me that I should actually look at it before I just pass it off and say no thanks. He's my best mate. He's a plumber down in London, and he's been self-employed for as long as I've known him, and that's 2 decades and a bit now. So I took the advice of somebody who knows what they're talking about as opposed to just asking random people, the bloke down the pub or the bloke down the barbers or whatever. I took the advice of someone who is self-employed, who knows the pros and cons, and thanks to him, I walked away with the contract. So just a little addendum there. Have a great weekend, guys.